I was 22. Broke. Depressed. Living in a studio apartment the size of a closet, drowning in student loans and working double shifts just to keep the lights on. I thought I had hit rock bottom until I made one decision that changed everything. No, this isn't about a lottery ticket. It's not about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about a machine. 2 wheels. 1 engine. And a dream I didn't even know I had. I bought a Triumph. And that one move flipped my entire life into motion. This isn't just a story about motorcycles. It's about transformation, confidence, escape, and the moment you realize wealth isn't always about money. Stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the Triumph wasn't just a bike, it was the beginning of a new life. The fall. Back then, I had nothing. No direction. No spark. Every day felt like I was on autopilot: wake up, work, sleep, repeat. I was constantly tired, always broke, and worst of all, I didn't recognize the person in the mirror anymore. You ever been there? Where your dreams are buried under obligations? Where everyone says, be responsible, but no one tells you how to feel alive again. My friends were settling into 9-to-5s. Buying IKEA couches and planning their safe, quiet lives. I tried to follow that path, but it only led to burnout and boredom. I didn't want average. I wanted freedom. Adventure. Fire. I just didn't know where to find it. And then, one night, I saw her. The calling. It wasn't even logical. I had no savings. My car barely ran. But something about the Triumph Bonneville stopped me cold. It was elegant, rebellious, and somehow, it looked like it didn't follow anyone's rules. I started researching obsessively. Watching every review. Reading every forum. Triumph wasn't just a brand, it was a mindset. A lifestyle. It stood for individuality, for refinement with edge. It wasn't flashy like a Lamborghini or arrogant like some sport bikes. It was quietly powerful. Like someone who doesn't need to scream to be heard. And in that moment, I realized something. I didn't need everyone's approval. I needed my own permission to want more out of life. The decision. I sold my car. Took an extra shift. And walked into a dealership with just enough for a down payment. I was nervous. This wasn't a practical decision. It wasn't safe. But for the first time in years, I felt something. When I touched the handlebar and swung a leg over that matte black Bonneville, it was like shaking hands with the future me, the one I'd buried under doubt and fear. The salesman asked, "You ready?" I said, "Not even close." But I hit the starter anyway. The engine rumbled to life. Deep. Confident. Pure. I didn't know it yet, but that sound would become the soundtrack to my freedom. The transformation. My first ride was a mess. I stalled 3 times. Sweated through my jacket. But I didn't care. I was moving. I wasn't stuck in traffic or stuck in my life, I was free. Every mile I rode, something shifted inside me. The Triumph didn't just take me places, it brought me back to myself. Suddenly, I cared about how I showed up in the world. I dressed better. Spoke with more confidence. Even my posture changed. People noticed. They'd ask, "What's that bike?" But what they really meant was, "Who are you now?" The confidence. Here's the truth they don't tell you. A motorcycle doesn't just change your commute, it changes your character. You start to value the experience of life. You learn risk. Courage. Precision. You stop living small. I began making bolder moves outside of riding too, negotiated a raise, started side hustles, networked with people who had vision. And here's the kicker, people listen differently when you walk in smelling like gasoline and confidence. My Triumph wasn't just a ride. It was my brand. The identity shift. I used to feel invisible. Now, when I roll up on that bike, people notice. Not because of the price tag, but because of the energy. A triumph tells the world, I go my own way. I define success on my terms. You see, wealthy living isn't just about net worth, it's about owning your time, your choices, and your confidence. And somehow, this bike taught me that better than any book, podcast, or seminar ever could. The unexpected turn. But let me be real, it wasn't all smooth. There was a rainy night, a slick turn, a lesson in humility that left both me and the bike scratched up. For a second, I thought, was this a mistake? But healing the bike, healing myself, it was part of the journey. Just like life, writing teaches you to fall forward. To keep your eyes up. To lean into the curve. And that's when I knew I wasn't just a guy who owned a motorcycle. I was a writer. A builder of my own life. The new life. Fast forward. I'm no longer broke. No longer depressed. I built a business. Moved into a loft. And the triumph? Still with me, because it was never about the bike. It was about becoming the kind of man who chooses his path instead of accepting whatever's handed to him. If you're watching this wondering whether buying a bike is a stupid idea, ask yourself. Is staying stuck smarter? Or is it time to make a move that scares you a little but wakes you up completely? I was 22. Broke. Depressed. Then I bought a Triumph. And in that moment, I stopped living someone else's life. And started building mine. Now here's the question. What's your triumph? What's the one move you're avoiding that might just change everything? Stick around, because in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to find the right bike for your journey, even if you're on a tight budget. And trust me, once you hear what most dealers never tell you, you'll never look at motorcycles the same way again. Top 5 bikes that look rich but cost under $10,000 and how to build a wealthy life starting with 2 wheels.